Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another movie review, so hopefully you find this one interesting. This movie is a drama slash fantasy from Sweden, Swedish language English subs, released in the year 2018, directed by Ali Abbasi, and this film is called Border. So Border is about a main character named Tina. She works in the customs in a port, so anyone who gets off the ferry has to go past her in order to get where they're going. She has an incredible sense of smell, so she can smell fear, anxiety. If anyone's doing anything they shouldn't be doing, she'll actually detect it better than anyone else. So she's a very valued member of the workforce. But she is a very timid individual. She's not confident. She has no self-esteem because she considers herself very ugly. A lot of people frown upon her. They're very scared of her by the way that she looks. And so this does have a devastating impact on her life. She can't really connect with anyone. She lives with a man in a rural cabin, and the man is trying to connect to her, but she's just very distant. And so she doesn't really know herself as a person. She doesn't accept herself. So she is quite depressed, and she just lives for her work, basically. So one day all that is about to change upon the arrival of a mysterious man. Now this man, like Tina, is very, very odd looking, but Tina immediately gets that connection that she has never felt before, that connection of belonging to someone. And so this man, the more she realizes who this man is, the more this man is actually teaching herself about who she is as a person, and her outlook on life is going to be changed forever. So whether it's going to be changed for the good or the bad is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Border. I don't know what it is about Scandinavian filmmakers, but they tend to deliver really good movies a lot more consistently than other areas of the world. And that is the reason why it's probably my favourite region of the world, is because there are so many memorable films, and Border is definitely another movie to add to that list. So this is a Swedish movie. When you think of Swedish films, you think of Let the Right One In. A whole host of other movies that have really captured audiences, and they do have a lot of credit. There's they are a very well-established country as far as the film industry is concerned. If I have a favourite country in the Scandinavian region, I definitely think Norway is the front runner, but Sweden is not far behind, and Border is another film that I would highly recommend to everyone out there. I'm not really familiar with Ali Abbasi. I know of the name. I know of his other film called Shelley. I haven't watched that movie yet. It looks very good. I'll have to track that down one day, but this is my first experience from this director, and the most impressive quality to this director is that there is so much more to this film than you would first think, is that it does have a very dreary atmosphere. It's a very ugly atmosphere. Visually, it's not a very attractive film, but that's the whole point of this experience. This is a movie that does have the concept on what we judge as beauty, what is good looking, what is an attractive person. In society, we have this standard of attractive. Basically, the models in the magazines, you have to have a perfect image, and if you don't have that perfect image, you're an ugly person. But ultimately, what is an ugly person? Is an ugly person what you see on the surface, or is an ugly person what you actually see on the inside? And that's something that a lot of people will say, you're not ugly if you've got a good heart. And whether you think that's true, it remains to be seen. But this film really does raise that question, is that on the outside it's very ugly, is that this woman unfortunately wasn't blessed with very good looks, but on the inside she was better than basically any other character in the film. And so the internal beauty to this movie just overpours the visual to this film, and the director manages to create ugliness and beauty and intertwine it into something that is truly beautiful. This is a very magical sort of film. This is a movie that does border on fantasy, and the fantasy sort of themes to this movie just interweave with the reality in a way that I thought was absolutely phenomenal. This is a phenomenal film. It was a phenomenal experience because you get so much more than just a basic drama. This is a very disturbing film, very dark themes, but once again you have that sense of beauty. The heart is beautiful, but the rest of the surrounding elements to that heart is the ugliness. And so this is a film that does hit you on a very emotional level. You connect to these characters. The characters are larger than life. The characters are of a different dimension, but once again, you have a strange sense of reality. So you're always grounded into something that you can relate to, but you have the outer world that you can really enjoy what is going on. And so it's very creative in what it does. I have to be very careful not to give anything away, but Ali Abbasi does an absolute phenomenal job at creating something that's strongly realistic, but also a sense of mythology, a sense of, okay, this is not quite happening in our realm, but the character motivations, the beauty, the whole concept of what is beauty and what we judge as beauty, I just think it makes a very soul-searching film, and it's a soul-searching element that can make you connect to these characters, and you can connect to the characters because the performances from the actors and the actresses was absolutely phenomenal. Now, Tina especially, as I said, on the outside, you think to yourself, well, she looks very odd. But then the more you get to know her, the less you actually notice her appearance, and you start to think, all right, this is a person I'm really connecting to. Is that, all right, I'm not really noticing the fact that she is very odd looking. And then the revelations that come later into the film evolve this character in a way that I was really, really impressed by. I thought the cinematography, as I said, it's a very dreary, downplayed sort of film. The movie is deliberately done in a way that's cold and unforgiving. But then, as I said, the internal beauty of this film just seeps through the screen, and you feel as though you're watching something that is so much more than a depressing outlook on life. And so there is a particular theme in this movie that is going to devastate a lot of people, and that was a deliberate ploy, is that you do have very devastating, ugly concepts, but the ugliness to the film is not necessarily what you would actually think when you first watch it. And so it does evolve into something that is actually truly unique, and that is something that is very relevant in Scandinavian cinema. I'm not going to compare this movie to other films because I believe that I'll give away the surprise, but there is a surprise to this movie that was phenomenal, and I really, really liked it. And that's the reason why I would tell everybody to go out there and see this film as soon as possible. There were some scenes that take place where in a lake that I thought was absolutely beautiful, very, very memorable. But once again, visually it's ugly, but on the inside you just feel that sense that, all right, it's uplifting, it's something that was magical. And that magic, as I said, it borders into fantasy, and the way that the two worlds and the dimensions collide together, I just thought it just comes in very naturally. Therefore, you know that you're watching something that doesn't come around very often. The ending I thought was phenomenal. There is a bit of violence, but it's not graphic. There is a graphic sex scene, so be careful. If you're easily offended by sex and nudity, then this movie is not for you. But I just thought it was a truly beautiful film. When you see all the ugliness in the visuals, inside on the heart, I just thought it was a beautiful emotional experience, and it's an emotional experience that doesn't come along very often, and it's typical of Scandinavia to deliver a film like this. So overall, I'm highly, highly recommending that you go out there and watch Border. I was really swept away by how good it was, and so therefore I'm going to give this film 4.5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.